Hello everybody and welcome to Las Vegas for the Octane Outlaws Silver State Throwdown 200. We are coming at you guys. We are in qualifying, 2 minutes into qualifying right now. As you see, we have a few times up on the board. Potts is leading us right now. That would be Justin Potts, followed by Corey Buchanan and Richard Kreuzer. Just to get us started. But let's take a look here at our race info for today. Today we're at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, the mile-and-a-half course, obviously in Las Vegas. And we are doing the Silver State Throwdown 200, brought to you by our sponsors TH Designs and Sopas Painting Co. Anything iRacing paint designs, go to TH Designs. That is TJ Hanley. He is currently not qualified yet, but he'll be in the number 08 car. You'll see him out on track today. And Sopas Painting Co. Anybody in Wisconsin need any kind of painting done, go to Sopas Painting Co. Hit them up. They're being put on the car of Richard Kreuzer, which we will jump on board right now. And looks like he is either entering. Yep, he is entering the pits in the number 90 machine. You see Sopas Painting all over his car. And there he is. Welcome everybody. What a night. We are live. Yeah, different pots. Justin Potts out here in third place in the 01 machine. Let's jump on board Patrick. Number 4, it looks like he just finished up. Kyle Heath, we're going to jump on board Kyle Heath, see what he has for a lap time, and he takes pole provisionally right now. He's completed 2.5 laps at this point, so he should be, he might just be getting a little bit of practice in. TJ Hanley, we were talking about earlier, one of our sponsors here, and he is in 8th place in his Ford. In the 08, and he has a little bit of a lag spike there. He drops down to 9th right now. Noah Miller out on track in the 8 machine. So we have the 08 of TJ Hanley and the 8 of Noah Miller. You can see we got some road racing guys out in the chat there. Welcome to the oval side of things here on iRacing for the Octane Outlaws. We're doing our lone qualifying right now. Noah Miller currently our pole sitter. We have a few cars that have not done any qualifying quite yet, and that is Alex Coffey, David Guiman. He is sick today, so we will see how he does in his race. Being sick is really rough on the body while you are racing. You wouldn't think it takes that much out of you, but you know, fighting a car for an hour and a half, that does the body no good when you're feeling under the weather. So, but what is up, Dakota? We have a Thompson fan, Tommy Thompson, number 7 machine, out there in the crowd. But while we are waiting, let us look at our race info again. 77 degrees on the weather tonight, 2-mile-an-hour wind, and we are going to be going around the track 135 times, if that is correct, and we are track temp of 79 degrees Fahrenheit. And there we go. We got a couple more out on track there. David Guiman, he is he's been doing pretty well so far in the season. In the number 10 fabricator machine. And David is looking to get the little bit later, little bit cooler track advantage. Not a ton of advantage to be had, but as you see, the margin is very small. Heath is only 3/100ths back from Miller, and Buchanan is only 6/100ths back from Miller. So not too big of a gap. So any little bit of advantage you can get, the better. You're Jake in the crowd. It can be rough. Women done with his qualifying laps. Rodney Roberts right here in the 12 machine. His car quest. I think that is a little bit different than his last week's one. I want to say he was in, yeah, definitely a different livery last week. Alex Coffey going around. He is one of our higher I rating guys, actually our highest I rating in the session. So let's see what he can do. Currently 14th. He is flying around the track. So qualifying is 10 minutes of total time. It gives the drivers a little bit of a break, but it is not open qualifying. Ooh, as he loses it a little bit coming around the corner, he is Tokyo drifting it here, and off into the wall he goes. That's not going to be good for Alex Coffey, but he does take pole before he wrecks his car. Man, what a way to start it here. But we will be going green flag in about 2 minutes. Gridding should happen in that 2 minute time, and then we will have another 2 minutes for everybody to get on track, do the 1 out lap. So we're probably looking at about 5 minutes before the race starts. But in the meantime, everybody is qualified. So I'm not sure if we will advance session early or if we will just, you know, kick it off when iRacing decides to move it forward. Take a look at a couple of different cars as they were doing their qualifying runs. This was Patrick Mitrovic. Patrick, I told you I was going to mess your name up again. But Patrick had a pretty good time here. He's right in the middle in 10th place. We'll ride on board with him for just a moment. Listen to the engine here. We'll go around a lap at Las Vegas. We'll jump right into his cockpit view. That's our helmet cam here that we see. Trying to get as close to that wall as possible. And then the fast line is the low line. But he's going to try and get speed for his second lap, and definitely does here. That's a lap at Las Vegas as we jump to the live session of our car's gridding up. Here we go. Right up front is Miller on the front row. Alex Coffey in first. Noah Miller in second. Kyle Heath in third. Corey Buchanan in fourth. Richard Kreiser in fifth. Justin Potts in sixth. TJ Hanley in seventh. Rodney Roberts in eighth. Tommy Thompson in ninth. Patrick Mitrovic in 10th. David Goyman in 11th. Casey Ellis in 12th. Greg Pillar in 13th. Raymond Mull Sr. in 14th. Blaine Wilson in 15th. Stein DeJong in 16th. George Buck in 17th. And rounding out the grid, we have number 18, or 18 spot on the grid, Chris Parkman in the number 15 machine. It's going to be a fun one to call. 135 laps here at Las Vegas in the 1.5 miles. As we pop up our ticker on top, we'll give a good view of these drivers as they come across the start zone. Oh, Noah Miller. Okay, he's just having slight disconnect for just a second. And this race will probably, depending on cautions, be around 1.5 hours to 2 hours. So if you're looking to stick around and hang out for this race, that's about the time frame you're looking for. Last week we had oh, there we go, we got some engine noise right there. Last week we had 0 cautions, which shortened the race up significantly. We have Kelly Coffee saying, "Go Coffee." Alex out in front right now in Toyota, number 54 machine. The nice monster livery. Ooh, and he is not going as of right now, so we'll see what is up with this. Ooh, he might have stalled his car out here. We're gonna have to get everybody back in line and within the 1 lap. And Coffee ain't getting anywhere if he's gonna start 6 rows back. Okay, there he goes. He is off and rolling down the track, getting back up to where he belongs on the front row. Elizabeth says, "Go Noah." Noah Miller fan in number 8 machine. 18 cars out on track today. As we have our pacing truck come across the line here and coming out of turn 4. And Coffee will have control of the start. Pace car should be pulling down into the pit lane. There he goes. Alex Coffee heads to start. And we have a green flag here. Alex Coffee has a good jump on the field. Kyle Heath in the number 53 machine gets a jump on Noah Miller on the outside. And Coffee has the lead going into turn 1. Heath right on his tail. Number 90 of Richard Kreuzer in 4th, looking like he has a good jump there. He's up a position. And TJ Handley in the number 08 is up 2 positions already. And TJ Handley is blinking around a little bit, so we will jump to car in front of him. Richard Kreuzer here, one of our sponsors. And he is the Soapbox Painting Co. number 90 car here. And we have a fun start to get going. Everybody keeping right on each other's tail. Nobody pulling away from each other too much. As Richard Kreuzer is staying with Kyle Heath. Kyle Heath, a 3800 IR. For those who don't know, iRating, that is how iRacing rates your driving capabilities. And TJ Handley, 2200 behind him. And Richard Kreuzer right in the middle at 961 iRating. And he is keeping up with these guys. He is choosing to take that little bit higher line, that midline, to save his tires a little bit more. And looks like it's already paying off. He is coming up on the side of Heath here, keeping Heath down on the line. And Kreuzer doing a great job keeping it high, keeping those tires as fresh as he can, less wear, less heat. And that's going to pay off for him in the end. Like I said, it looks like it might already be paying off for him. Getting into a good groove here. Kreuzer just looking to stay with the pack. He is doing a fantastic job. Unfortunately, TJ Handley is coming right up behind him. So is Corey Buchanan in the number 19 machine. Corey Buchanan, beautiful Crown Royal livery. And he is one of our admins and league owners, Corey Buchanan. He is top 6 right now. He's down 2 positions from where he qualified. He's going to be looking to get up into the fray of things, as we see a couple people taking that really low line. Patrick Matrevics, he is down the front stretch. He is cutting way down across the infield almost. We see that at Kansas like we saw last week, but we don't see it too much at Las Vegas just because the apron angle is a little bit more drastic. Let's see if he does it here again. As he comes down. No, he just stays right where he's at, right on that white line. Doesn't go below the white line. And we do have Corey Buchanan passing number 08 of TJ Handley, as TJ Handley has settled himself in there nicely. Richard Kreuzer sticking on that outside line. If it's anything like last week, we should see around 30 laps per run, and 30 laps worth of fuel, and tires start going at that point. And TJ Handley's having a heck of a time here staying connected. I would be surprised if he does not disconnect sometime within this race. That is why he is blinking in and out so much. And pop up a little bit of information about our drivers here. Richard Kreuzer, who we are on right now. He's got those a little bit fresher tires. And they said the man from Wisconsin here, one of our sponsors. We got sponsor battle going on. TJ Handley in the TH Designs and Richard Kreuzer in the Sopas Painting Co. Hopefully the admin team gets to win tonight. Number 90, number 4, and number 19. And right now we have number 90, Richard Kreuzer right here, number 4, and number 19, all right on top of each other. There's Patrick Mitrovic. They are all staying relatively close. Last week at this time, we had a lot of separation already. These drivers staying real close to each other. Noah Miller is flying, the man from Melbourne, Florida. Unlike how I have said before, Melbourne, Australia. He is from Florida. Noah Miller in the number 8, putting some room in between himself and Alex Coffey. And Alex Coffey not doing too bad himself. And right now, we are only at a total of 8 incidents on track. I don't think we will ever match the number of incidents that we had last week. Only 12 incidents, I believe it was, by the end of the race. And that is unheard of for an hour and a half of racing. That is, fantastic here by our field. So, great field of guys driving right now. Noah Miller getting caught up from Alex Coffey just a tiny bit here. As we pop our tower down. Alex Coffey in that number 54 machine currently setting the pace. Ooh, he might have touched the wall there, but either way, he is right on the rear end here of Noah Miller. And Noah Miller is going to have a fight on his hands today. Kyle Heath with TJ Handley. Richard Kreuzer has dropped a slight bit back. Richard Kreuzer is leading that second pack. And Noah Miller leading the first one. Kreuzer, Buchanan, and Mitrovic, all admin. We look back, we got 2x2 going with Rodney Roberts, Corey Robertson, Corey Buchanan, and Rodney Roberts. And Justin Potts and Patrick Mitrovic. And Patrick dropping back ever so slightly. The driver's doing a fantastic job keeping themselves out of trouble so far. We jump on board with number 4, Patrick Mitrovic. He's just trying to stick right there with Justin Potts in the number 01 machine. Ooh, and we see somebody going way up high. That looks like that might be Richard Kreuzer. And it is Richard Kreuzer just touching the wall ever so slightly. He's going to want to try and keep that out of the wall as much as he can. A little bit of damage can do a lot of... ooh, another touch into the wall there by Richard. And that has put him back into 11th. He was all the way up in 5th place for the longest time. 119 laps remaining here at Las Vegas. We have a beautiful night and a beautiful race going on. Richard Kreuzer now facing off against Casey Ellis in the 35 machine, side by side. And you have a couple cars that are falling back a little bit, but we'll take a peek in on them in just a moment. Yeah, Blaine Wilson in the middle of a couple cars here. Gets by the 01 of Potts and is working on the 4 of Mitrovic's. Ooh, and he gets a little loose, goes down low. Mitrovic and him just touching ever so slightly. The 00 there of Pillar. Just staying high, being careful, make sure that number 20 doesn't have a little bit warm tires from that incident. Ooh, and he just cuts across the back end of the number 35 machine. Casey Ellis, lucky he didn't get taken out there by the number 20. Oh, and Alex Coffey early into the pits here. We saw this last week as some cars came in early to line up their strategy, and it set us all sorts of out of sync as to who was going to come out with the win. Ended up being, I believe it was Daniel Wilson. Or Blaine Wilson, excuse me. Blaine Wilson had been our winner last week, and we have Kyle Heath and Noah Miller still fighting it out up front. And not sure why, but Chris Parkman, number 15 machine, is a lap down already. No, he's just kind of towards the back of the pack. George Buck having some issues early on in number 28 heavily machine. Dave Guiman, once again, he is sick in that number 10 machine, but he's keeping up. Tommy Thompson here, 14th place, number 7. Raymond Mull in the number 18 Bud Light machine. Stein DeJong in the 89 Ally. And then coming towards the middle of our pack, Justin Potts, Casey Ellis here. They're hanging in with Richard Kreuzer. Ooh, somebody touching the wall up ahead of him. Greg Pillar in the 00 machine. Just scraping the wall. Those tires are starting to get a little weird to them. Like I said, about 30 laps is the life that you want to go. Oh no, Alex Coffey apparently had surgery. He's probably coming out of his car for the night. That is a shame to see. We hope that, recovery goes well, Mr. Coffey, but get healthy. No, we want to see you out here healthy. We don't want you getting injured trying to race the car. So hop on into the YouTube broadcast. Check out the fellow racers, cheer on your teammates, and we'll be hoping and praying that you're getting better. As Greg Pillar is leading this little bit of a pack here. And Kreuzer gets ahead of him on that outside line. Starting to pay off for Kreuzer. You see he's running some pretty good laps. Look at our battle box here. Kreuzer, he's down 3 positions. Blaine Wilson up 9 positions in 6th ahead of him. But you can see Buchanan, he is getting away from him just a little bit. And Justin Potts, he is trying to pull away from Kreuzer himself. I'm going to peek in on Kyle Heath. He is a half a second up on Noah Miller. Oh, Kelly, tell him that we hope that he he ends up feeling better. And like I said, don't rush back to the track. You know, the league will be here, drivers will be here. You know, we just want him to feel better and you know, recover from surgery a little bit before he hops out on track. We don't want any further injuries to occur. But like I said, we wish him all the best on his recovery time. And we have TJ Handley going into the pit lane here. He is doing the speed limit. Let's pop up our speed. 55 miles an hour right now. He is our first driver into the pits. It's not a retirement. 27 laps in. What a bad camera angle that is. Let's get a better one. There we go. And Handley is fueling up, fueling up. I'm not seeing tires. Looks like he just did a splash and go. I did not see tires go on that car, so you might be thinking a tire wear isn't as bad as everybody else. Now Handley blinking around. Kyle Heath here. Still leading the charge, pulling away from Miller. Miller falling back, falling back. What's going on with Miller? Okay, he's coming into the pits as well. Lining up his pit stops for later. Pillar coming in. Mitrovic. Buchanan, Kreuzer coming in really hot. But it looks like he got in under the speed. Yeah, he's doing all right. He got in with a great pit lane entry. We have Noah Miller, Patrick Mitrovic, Corey Buchanan, Kreuzer, Ellis, and obviously Alex Coffey out of the race. Noah Miller should be getting out first, but he's taking full tires. Mitrovic looks like he either got a better pit stop and just took 2 tires. You go, Casey Ellis taking both sides. Tommy Thompson coming in now. Mitrovic's coming out on track. Teammate Corey Buchanan right behind him. Drew Kreuzer a little bit farther back. Noah Miller slightly ahead of him. Ooh, Miller having to come back in. Not sure what's going on with Miller. Maybe he meant to take tires and just forgot. Not quite sure. Let's see if he ends up taking tires here. Blaine Wilson in the pits as well. Kyle Heath, Justin Potts, the rest of the crew. Rodney Roberts, Raymond Mull, Stein DeJong, George Buck, Chris Parkman, all in the pit lane right now. And it does not look like he's taking tires. Maybe he had a penalty as he is just sitting in the pits. He must have had a penalty coming into the pit lane because that is a big... That's a big no-no. George Buck gets a black flag for speeding in the pit lane. Right on the exit there. I'm checking our flags to see if Noah Miller did get a black flag while in the pit lane. That's going to set him back at least a lap, maybe a lap and a half, so he's going to have to hope for a caution. Let's go number 19, Corey Buchanan. Let's take a look in on him. See how he's doing in his car from Savannah, Georgia. It looks like Noah Miller's black flag has been cleared. He's back on track. Big unfortunate event there for Noah Miller. He is number 2 on track for fastest car. So down 15 positions. That is not good. Alex Coffey, he is down obviously and out of the race. George Buck, he was speeding in the pit lane. He's going to have to get his penalty out of the way. But Noah Miller, the man from Melbourne, Florida, making a big mistake here at the beginning of the race. Hopefully he can recover. Who knows, maybe that extra, little bit of fuel that he was putting in there when he did his pit stop to serve his penalty. Maybe that'll help him out later on in the race. Who knows? I know we were having a couple drivers that were coming up short on fuel. George Buck, he is doing his penalty, getting tires as well. Might as well. Just the right sides. But Kyle Heath, our man up front, leading the charge with a 4-second gap back to Blaine Wilson and TJ Hanley. Blaine Wilson, our winner last week, he is a 4,000 I rating driver, so he's he's no slouch when it comes to the ovals here. He started in back. Not a great qualifying time, but he is up 13 positions from where he currently started. He is going to have to track down Kyle Heath in the Chevy. TJ Hanley is showing that he is about 0.6 seconds back from him, but Rodney Roberts is truly our car, I think, that is behind him. As we see Hanley, he's having all sorts of connection issues, so we might not see him make it to the end of the race. Rodney Roberts going side by side with the number 15 machine of Chris Parkman. Chris Parkman from Lancaster. A couple cars getting in the way here. George Buck on the outside. Not really getting in the way. I mean, they have a right to be on track, but George Buck having a rough go. As Noah Miller is just trying to put down his fastest times. 29.7, fastest lap of the race by Noah Miller. By all means, he should be out front in that number 8 machine. We'll keep an eye and see if he has an alternate strategy to help himself get back in this race, or if he just plans on putting the foot down, seeing what he can do to catch on up with the drivers up front, or even just get himself back on the main lap, because right now he is, with that 40-second time penalty, speeding in the pits, he is about 4 laps down from the field. Nope, sorry, that is George Buck. Noah Miller is 2 laps down from the field. George Buck being 4 laps down for the 2 penalties that he had to take for speeding in the pit lane. So just like last week, we had a couple speeding in the pits that set a couple drivers back. This sets the leader of the race back in Noah Miller. So Elizabeth Andrews, who said, "Go Noah, I am sorry." He is back in 16th place. He could use some cheering on to help him get up front again. But we are going to check in Corey Buchanan and Patrick Matrevics. They are going to be trying to work together as teammates here. Our admin team, Patrick and Corey, they take care of a lot of stuff on a day-to-day basis. Corey being one of the owners of the league. Dakota, we miss you tonight. Wish you were out on track, but totally understand. And we got Stein DeJong coming up really quick on these guys. Wow, almost like they're sitting still. Stein must have a little bit better tire life. We see DeJong and Buchanan. Buchanan almost a full second slower than DeJong in on the last 5 laps here. Getting a crazy number of good lap times here from DeJong. He really put the pedal down. He was hanging back for a little bit. Might have just been conserving tires for this later stint. He just needed fuel, kept the tires he had, and then just, put the pedal down. He is flying. DeJong is currently setting the pace out on track, other than, I think, Noah Miller. Let's check out Noah Miller, see what he's doing in the back of the pack. He is not setting the pace anymore. Yeah, it is DeJong setting the pace. Kyle Heath is even slower than DeJong is. Heath pulling away from Roberts, but DeJong catching everybody at this point. So we have Blaine Wilson catching up to Rodney Roberts here. Blaine Wilson setting some really good laps here as well. Pulling away from Potts behind. Rodney Roberts is losing about a half second, you know, only a quarter second on the last one. Well, Noah, your mom's cheering you on, so now you got to go out there and get a win. You got to come back from this, as we have 3 cars. Tommy Thompson, Corey Buchanan, and Patrick Matrevics all right there. As we see Casey Ellis. Maybe that's not Casey Ellis. Must be one of our lapped cars. George Buck. Nope. Parkman, Noah Miller. I don't think it was Noah Miller. Maybe it was Noah Miller, just ever so slightly touching the wall ahead of Tommy Thompson. Tommy Thompson at number 7. He is losing time to Corey Buchanan behind him. Actually, Buchanan's losing time to Thompson. We jump back on with DeJong. DeJong doing a good push up into 6th and getting right behind TJ Handley. Still running in the low 30s. As we see DeJong getting by Handley here. About a second slower than Ellis behind. Ellis is making up time on Handley. You see him right there. Casey Ellis putting in very similar lap times to Stein DeJong right now in that number 35 Toyota. But we are 50 laps in, 49 to be exact, but 50 coming up real shortly. And there we are. We are on lap 50 as Rodney Roberts goes across the checker flag, passing Kyle Heath in the number 53 machine. Rodney Roberts up 7 positions in that new CarQuest livery. Like I said, I don't believe he's running a CarQuest last week. So a little change in pace there from Rodney Roberts. Looking good. Kyle Heath right behind him, and Justin Potts in the 01 Subway. Legendary says, Thompson got this. He's saving tires and then attacks after. We'll see how long these tires can last. As we see, Thompson getting up into 7th position. Number 7 in the 7th position. That Brandt car that he has right there. Let's jump on board with him. Take a lap around Las Vegas here. As we jump back to our regular camera views here, Thompson did pass, but TJ Handley was in pit lane. Be a little bit alternative view here. A little bit farther as we have Thompson coming. He is catching Buchanan though. Or he is pulling away from Buchanan. Obviously, this is his rookie season. It's everybody's rookie season here in the Octane Outlaws. Let's see if we have anybody real close here. We have Justin Potts. And he has just passed Kyle Heath, but Kyle Heath fighting back on that low line. They're going to go at it here for a little bit, I'm sure. Great pace from these drivers. We also have a three-way battle right now for 8th between Corey Buchanan, David Goyman, and Raymond Mull, who's right behind them in the 18 machine from Uniontown, Ohio. He's looking to just let them fight so he can get on by, and he is definitely gaining on the number 10 machine of David. Corey Buchanan sticking on that outside line. He's going to be saving those tires. Like Frederick said there in the chat, saving tires so he can attack a little bit later. And we have Raymond Mull having a little bit of packet loss there, and he's back. We'll say that is really difficult to drive around when you have a little bit of packet loss like that and a car somewhere around the track. It makes for a bad time sometimes. Rodney Roberts here, still leading. Justin Potts and Kyle Heath fighting behind him. They're waiting to see if anybody else starts coming down pit lane for the second pit stop of the race. And you can see a lot of these drivers electing to stay up high. The 01 there with Potts staying high. Ooh, and he gets a little squirrely. Might have touched the wall ever so slightly, but Kyle Heath there with him. Staying on that low line. Low line's faster, high line's a little bit more conservative on the tire temp and the tire life, as we see 53 going well below that white line. Cutting down the angle as much as he can, and it looks like we do have a couple people in the pits. Casey Ellis down pit lane. Tommy Thompson coming in for a pit stop, as well as we are on lap 59. Like I said, about 30 laps per stint, so a couple drivers coming in lap or two early just to make sure that they they're getting the proper fuel in the car. Once again, bad camera angle there. Casey Ellis gets going. Number 10 machine in. Number 19 Corey Buchanan is in. A lot of drivers coming in here on the 60th lap. And as you guys have probably figured out, just like last week, 30 plus 30 plus 30 plus 30 is 120. So they'll have 15 laps, so about a half of a stint on a set of either used tires, or they can get some tires, but they really only need to do about a half a stint worth of fuel on one of these runs. Some of these drivers might be electing to try and fuel save and do one less stop than everybody else. That could be something that we're seeing on track. So like Kyle Heath is still out there. He's coming in really hot. Does he get slowed down enough? It looks like he might have. Nobody that I can see has a black flag. Yep, nobody that has come into the pit lane recently has had a black flag, so all of our drivers getting in and getting out of the pit lane safely and at the right speeds. We see Blaine Wilson, Kyle Heath, and Raymond Mull. Raymond Mull, he's got a good jump out of the pit lane here. He's going to be pretty close behind these leaders. Raymond Mull making a big jump in position. Oh, never mind. He's coming into the pit still. Oh, no, and he overshoots his pit box. The commentator's curse. Went too deep into the pits. Rodney Roberts still leading us. I believe the as us road guys would call it, the undercut is a little bit more powerful as you have that speed and momentum on track. When you start get going again, you'll make the overtake over somebody who pits a little bit later. So the short-term gain is you get that position. Long-term gain is you know, your tires are a couple laps older. We have Justin Potts and Blaine Wilson catching up to him. About 8/10 back. Double zero machine of Greg Pillar is a lap down right there. Not quite sure how Pillar got a lap down. He might have had a penalty. Stein de Jong, who was setting the pace for a little while there. But if it's any consolation, Frederick, the number 7 Tommy Thompson does have the fastest lap at 29 seconds, 29.82 seconds. Sorry. So he is blazing the trail here. Raymond Mull is having some kind of issue. It is flashing him on and off the track. Okay, he's just having connection issues. Yeah, Tommy Thompson doing a great job of keeping that car moving. 29.82. We're going to jump on board here with Heath. Heath right now has Justin Potts right on his tail. He's sandbagging. He's setting another scorcher of a lap, 29.87. But now we do have a couple other people setting faster times. We do have a 29.71, 29.67 by Raymond Mull Sr. and Noah Miller. And those are the two fastest. Noah Miller still getting those fastest laps, and surprisingly, I don't want to say surprisingly, but Raymond Mull, he is back in 12th. He also is tied for the fastest lap as of right now. So great job by Raymond Mull. Get that pace a little bit more under control. Don't overshoot your pit stops, then you could be right up there with the leaders. Rodney Roberts, so we'll check in with him 2.25 seconds ahead of Kyle Heath. And Justin Potts right there with Heath. We have a small group of cars here. Pillar in the 00. Mull behind him, 1.5 seconds. Kreuzer behind him, 1.5 seconds. Number 4 of Patrick Matrevics behind him, less than a second. So these 4 or 5 drivers here are, you know, from 14th up to 10th, fighting for position, all within a few seconds of each other. Rodney Roberts, once again, still leading the race as we are 70 laps in. That is a little bit past halfway point. Dig Blaine Wilson. Blaine is coming from a little ways back. He's got about a 3.8 second, 3.9 second gap that he has to overcome either in the pits or on the track. And honestly, he has been cutting that down lap by lap by lap. So Blaine Wilson, our winner last week, let's see if he can't do it again this week. And this is where we have that offset of drivers. As I said before, some drivers are going to have an early pit stop at the beginning of the race. Some people are going to have an early pit stop at the end of the race. Drivers are going to be offset slightly, and that is going to cause You know, to look like, you know, why is Pillar and Mull and Goyman and Kreuzer, they're all lapped down, but they haven't been going slow. They haven't been, you know, into any issues. They haven't gotten a penalty for speeding in the pits. And the reasoning for that is we're just a little offset on our strategies here. So we have about a 15 lap or a half a stint gap that people are going to have to make up. And Wilson is closing the gap here on Potts as we speak. Actually, that is a lapped car. The double zero of Pillar that he is working with right now. Pillar not really blocking him, but you know, it does take a little bit. Let's go Bone Wilson. All right, so we have double zero of Pillar in 10th. He is, like I said, he's not really blocking him, but he is definitely it takes a little bit extra concentration, a little bit extra skill to drive side by side with somebody just like what's going on. Lane Wilson killing it. We are only at a total of 16 incidents as of right now. And honestly, that's fantastic. 16 incidents is it's a little bit more than we had last week. That's one more touch of another car. But 16 incidents, these drivers are doing fantastic here. If you've ever driven in iRacing, you know the officials are a caution fest. Super Speedways are a caution fest. Our week one, as Blaine Wilson does get by the double zero of Pillar. Caution fest, caution fest, caution fest when it comes to officials and super Speedways. Like we saw, week one was 14 incidents, or 14 yellows. We had 14 cautions, and we had over 200, I think it was 300 incident points throughout that race. And that race took 2.5 hours to complete. Last week's race, same distance, hour and a half. So an hour worth of driving around the track extra that these guys are able to negate after week one. Fantastic driving by everybody, as Heath is still trying to fight off Justin Potts. You can kind of see where that strategy offset is with Pillar, Mull, Kreuzer, Mitrovic, and Parkman. Still so unfortunate for Noah Miller. He is setting some good lap times. Last lap not so great. One lap that he would like to forget, a 31.06. Everybody else running in the mid to low 30s. But everybody that's out there, don't forget to like the stream, subscribe so you guys can get more notifications of when we go live here. You know, cheer on your favorite drivers. Obviously, we have a few fan favorites here in Noah and Blaine Wilson. I know Dakota's got a bunch of fans. Frederick, a new fan of Tommy Thompson, who's running in 7th in the number 7. Hit the subscribe, hit that like. It helps out the stream, helps these guys get more recognition, and it helps our sponsors out as well. Our sponsors this week and for the season, I don't think we have a specific week sponsor, but for this season, TH Designs up top and Sopos Racing Co. out of Wisconsin, as we'll go to the Sopos Racing machine, the number 90 of Richard Kreuzer in 12th place. Richard's brother Luke owns that. And anywhere in Wisconsin, if you're in Wisconsin, something needs painted, call these guys, Sopos Painting Co. We see Noah Miller getting an incident point. Looks like it's just for touching the wall. But we'll see. TJ Hanley coming into the pits. Let's take a look at lap number. This is 81, so he is 20 laps into his third stint. He comes to a good stop there, getting tires, getting fuel. So this must be his way of offsetting, getting the extra 20 laps down, taking an early pit stop. And I almost said Alex Coffey in the pits too, but Alex has been in the pits for quite a while. Once again, Alex, feel better. We're thinking of you guys. Rodney Roberts, only a second now ahead of Kyle Heath. Blaine Wilson, somewhere along the lines here, got by Justin Potts. Looks like Justin Potts might have had an incident, but Blaine Wilson is catching up to Kyle Heath. You see down the stretch there, Kyle Heath at the end of the stretch. Wilson a few cars behind him. Only 1.1 seconds behind Kyle Heath. Wilson making up that gap really quickly. 1.9 seconds. Just probably 10 minutes ago, we were at, I want to say it was 3.8. So he's made up 2 seconds within about 10 seconds, or within about 10 minutes of racing. So that is huge as we see more and more people coming in for their pit stop. Corey Buchanan, Richard Kreuzer, Patrick Mitrovics. And once again, I'm sorry for this camera angle. I don't know why iRacing thinks that that is a good camera angle for the pits as the default there, but these admin, I just kind of want to call them the admin team. The admin team here with Corey Buchanan, Patrick, and Richard, all right on top of each other here. Doing a good job to, to stay with each other and help each other out whenever they need to. It's going to be interesting, though, to see who elected to do those early offsets and who is electing to do the late offsets. Later offsets being the ones that are running out front right now. Rodney Roberts, Kyle Heath, Blaine Wilson, Justin Potts, Stein DeJong, Tommy Thompson. And then one lap down, which is one pit stop down, Casey Ellis, Greg Pillar, Raymond Mull Sr., Chris Parkman, TJ Hanley, and Corey Buchanan. All running a different strategy. It'll be interesting to see how this comes out. And wow, we have a little bit of a group of cars here. Number 12, Rodney Roberts, Kyle Heath in the 53, Blaine Wilson in the 20. Couple cars back, but Heath, that 53 car, he is pushing the back of Roberts. He is going to want to get by. And right now we have the number 10 of David Guiman. And David running his own race there. He's, gotta respect that he has just as much right to the track as the other guys. Blue flags don't mean the same thing they do in road racing as they do ovals. Blue flags are kind of like a, hey, so there's a car behind you in ovals. In road, it means, get the heck out the way. This is number 10 is actually looking like he's slightly quicker than these guys up front. He's on that offset. It's going to be a little bit different than number 12, number 53, and number 20 cars. We can take a look at the pit strategy here. Everybody is on, looks like 28 lap old tires to 29 lap old tires. Come on up on 30. So they're going to have to pit here very shortly. As we see somebody's diving down into the pits. That might be Pillar. Yep, looks like it is the 00 of Pillar. And Pillar is also on 30 laps on those tires. But just to show that offset, we're going to jump on board with... does not look like we can jump on board with anybody like Buchanan, Mitrovics for the pit stop strategy here. We just see our top 8 drivers, and everybody in the top 8 are all on a very similar strategy. Hanley, you can see, is offset just a tiny bit. We see he went short on his first stint, short on his second stint, 30 laps on his third stint, and then he took a really short stint. Or no, that's his current stint. 9 laps currently on his tires as of right now, and that is TJ Handley as he is passing a couple of the cars. Like Stein de Jong out of the way, Chris Parkman out of the way. Sorry, Rodney Roberts coming up. Be his next target. We're coming up on the 100 lap mark very shortly. About 3.5 minutes. And we have Blaine Wilson in the pit lane. And he is going to be fighting Kyle Heath and Rodney Roberts. Let's see if Blaine Wilson gonna have it on these drivers. You see Kyle Heath coming around. Blaine Wilson, Heath right in his mirror. And Wilson, can he hold off Heath? Looks like Heath might have a little bit warmer tires. He's going to go around the outside. No, Wilson's able to stick with him. There goes Heath, catching up ever so slightly. Only a couple laps difference in tire strategy here. But Wilson is right up there in the lead, fighting Heath side by side. Heath has a little bit more heat in those tires. Let's see if he can make it stick around the outside. Some great battling going on here. Just looking back to see if we had any black flags for any of the cars entering the pit lane. And it does not look like we did, so we had a clean stop and go for everybody. These cars are just hanging in there side by side. Check out our gyro here. It's going to be loud inside the car here, but this is Wilson's view right now. Blaine Wilson fighting off Kyle Heath. It might not look like there's a whole lot of room on that outside, but Blaine Wilson pushing Kyle Heath. Let's jump on board Kyle Heath. There he is, Blaine Wilson on the inside there. These cars are going to be bumping doors the entire rest of the race at this rate. This might give Rodney Roberts a chance to catch up since these cars are, you know, side by side. Like I said, it doesn't necessarily knock you out or give up tons of time, but it makes you, you know, think about the guy on the outside. When you're riding solo, I mean, you have Rodney Roberts gaining 1/10 of a second to 2/10 of a second per lap on these drivers up front. And Roberts is back in third, 2.7 seconds back. And Kyle Heath is only 5/100ths of a second faster than Blaine Wilson on this last lap, but Blaine Wilson has him by 1/100th of a second. Tommy Thompson right in the fray of it, getting past Corey Buchanan here as well. Corey in 6th. As you see, these strategies just overlapping each other here. Kyle Heath, the man from Gilbert, South Carolina, just trying to hang in there with Blaine Wilson, but Blaine Wilson is just scorching around the track. Once Blaine got away from being side by side. He started pulling away from Roberts, now 3.15 seconds away. That Blaine Wilson from Cedar Rapids, Iowa. He always likes to thank Rick for the car every night. Yep. As you see there, Frederick, Tommy Thompson is in 6th as of right now. He's not, not doing a bad job. He is up 3 positions from where he started in 10th or in 9th. He's keeping pace with these guys up front. Best laps from these guys up front, 30.25, 30.2 on the last couple laps. And right there with them is 30.4 Tommy Thompson. Only a couple tenths off of the leader. Somebody we haven't checked in on in a while, Noah Miller. He is a 30.41 as well last lap, so he is not setting the pace anymore, but he is doing a great job to try and get himself back in this race. As you see, he's gaining on, I believe that is Parkman? No. The 89 of Stein de Jong. Sorry, I was thinking of the 83 from last week. Stein de Jong getting passed there by Noah Miller. Noah Miller trying everything he can. Clawing and scraping. Really trying to get up there. But just like at the end of an F1 race, Frederick, you never know with the the tire strategies, the pit strategies, what everybody's doing. Unfortunately, our pit graphic only shows us the top 8 cars in their pit graphic, so you see a couple cars elected to stay out a little bit longer, try and keep that tire life at 31 lap, 30 laps, and a couple other people coming in 24 laps there for Buchanan in 7th. 30 laps there. Hanley is offset on his, so he's electing to take an early pit stop and taking one more. Thompson just pit, yep. So he is going to be pitting. Pop up our tower so we can see our laps. 106 laps right now. So, yep, if Thompson pits right now, then he will be good till the end of the race. We'll see some people coming in. As we see Guiman coming in. We should see a few drivers come in right now. And then we should be, everybody's square and even all the way to the end of the race. But with fuel limitations, these cars are only limited to 30 laps of fuel. Guiman making a big play here, though. Nobody else pitting quite yet. He's going to have to hope that he can make it to the end of the race with the fuel that he has. Blaine Wilson still fighting Kyle Heath. Less than a tenth of a second between the two of them. And these guys just, such clean drivers all the way throughout the track. Like I said, officials, you get people that are sliding all over the place, losing the rear end, people flying off the track, causing cautions left and right, but not these guys. Very professional, very well done by these drivers here. Raymond Mull is in a little bit of a battle with Greg Pillar. Greg Pillar getting by him fairly easily. But Pillar, I believe, has a fresher set of tires. David Guiman pitting. Might be a saving grace for him. Corey Buchanan coming into the pits now. And he is going to be looking to get to the end of the race after this pit stop. Let's see if he takes tires or if he just takes fuel. That is the difference of about 5 or 6 seconds. If you take just fuel, or if you take full tires, it's the difference of a couple seconds at least if you only take outside tires. Looks like he's taking full tires. TJ Hanley coming in as well. He is one of our sponsor drivers today, TH Designs. If you need anything painted in iRacing, especially for the league, the Octane Outlaws League, go to him. He can get you a paint done for a discount, and he, you know, does a fantastic job. His paint is looking really good right there as we see Casey Ellis coming in. Ooh, that's a far shot right there. Pit lane number 2. That's a bad shot too. Looks like TV1's our camera of choice for the pit lane. Casey Ellis coming in for his pit stop. As we saw last week, a couple people were on the edge of whether or not they were going to be able to make it to the end of the race. So they were very skeptical on whether or not they were going to pit early or pit later. Looks like we are pitting later. 24 laps to go. These cars can hold 30 laps worth of fuel. And right now, here we go. Blaine Wilson coming out of the pits. Heath and Roberts coming into the pits. Tommy Thompson, your man, up in third. Frederick looking good in the Brandt car, but he is going to have to pit. Let's take a look at his pit strategy. Yeah, and he is currently out there on 24 lap old tires. He will have 6 laps of fuel left before he has to come on in. So he's going to have his short stint here at the end. But Thompson just trying to put fast lap time down as he can. Pit stops are ranging from 38 seconds to 48 seconds. So about 10-second difference for just fuel and tires. Thompson still has to pit, and Justin Potts still has to pit. But other than that, most of our drivers that are out there and where they are at is where they are going to be fighting. "22 laps to go here, though. 21 laps to go here as Blaine Wilson is passing Tommy Thompson. Patrick Mitrovic on the outside as well. And those tires are struggling for Thompson. He's going to want to get in and get those changed ASAP. Kyle Heath way out front. Blaine Wilson must have had some kind of mishap in the pit lane, but he has 3 seconds to make up in about 20 laps. Let's see if Blaine Wilson can do that, as Tommy Thompson does come into the pit lane on his current run. I believe Justin Potts still has to... Yep, he is into the pit lane as well. But everybody else is filing in the positions that they're going to be in for the end of the race. Everybody has plenty of fuel to get to the end. Unfortunately, we only have 6 cars on the main lap, and a couple of them are going to get passed here by the leader. So we only have 4 cars on the main lap. Kyle Heath flying. Blaine Wilson trying to catch 2.5 seconds back. Blaine Wilson, our winner from last week. Let's see if he can't get up there by Kyle Heath and, you know, make some magic happen. I'd like to see a photo finish here at Las Vegas. TJ Handley, unfortunately, he keeps blinking all over the place. But Handley here is still in 4th, hanging on. The only one of 4 people on the main lap currently. Rodney Roberts hanging in third. Looks like as long as everything goes right, he will be finishing right there. But Blaine Wilson on the charge, 1.6 second gap back. He is making up time on Kyle Heath. This is going to be a fun one to watch, because once he gets side by side with Kyle Heath, Kyle is not going to want him to get by. There might be some blocking. There might be a little bit of magic going on. From Thompson to Buchanan, the gap is 1.6 seconds. To fifth place, it is 10.5 seconds to Stein de Jong. So a top 5 is possible if things go his way. But Tommy Thompson has a little bit of traffic behind him trying to catch up. Thompson, currently the gap behind is Casey Ellis, so he is susceptible to losing a position too. Heath just hoping and praying that Wilson doesn't get any closer. He's a second behind him. He's getting into that draft now down the backstretch. That's going to help him significantly. $15 laps to go here. Make that 14 laps to go. And once again, we are only at 20, count them, 20 total incidents for this race. We have been racing now for a little over an hour and about 10 minutes. These drivers are doing a fantastic job. Blaine Wilson right on the bumper of Kyle Heath. This is Rodney Roberts' dream scenario right now. He's going to really hope that Kyle Heath and Blaine Wilson are going to give a little bit of fighting. Kyle Heath just lets Blaine Wilson go on by. Blaine Wilson just sticking it to the track. Wilson somehow up 14 positions from where he started to get into first here. He's doing a great job. He is starting to pull away from Kyle Heath. Just little bit by little bit, tenths at a time per lap. Laps are differing by about 4 tenths per lap between Blaine Wilson and Kyle Heath. Kyle Heath to Rodney Roberts is about 3 tenths of a second. And TJ Handley is actually making up a ton of time on Rodney Roberts each and every lap. TJ Handley is about 7 seconds back, 7.5 to be exact. And he is making up, it might be, too little too late, but he's making up 6 tenths per lap. He can make up 6.6 seconds in the next 11 laps. He can at least get close. Give Rodney Roberts a little bit of a scare here for third place in that podium. Who knows? Kyle Heath might have been saving sorry for that. I had a notification on my screen. I thought we might have had a caution, but it was not. It was just a black flag notification for Justin Potts. Blaine Wilson is now 1.7 seconds ahead of Kyle Heath, but Kyle Heath, if he has anything left in those tires, he's going to have to push it now to start catching back up to Wilson. Kyle Heath is, he's a quick guy, but Wilson just pulling away. Rodney Roberts here in the number 12 machine, still in third. TJ Handley, though, making that gap smaller and smaller and smaller. 6.4 seconds for him. And we're going to jump on board with Greg Pillar and Raymond Mull. They are fighting currently. And Justin Potts got a black flag for speeding in the pits. Looks like he is serving that at the current moment and is going to jump off of the track. But Raymond Mull and Greg Pillar closing the gap more and more on Mull. He's looking to take that 8th place from Raymond. Now, Raymond, I don't think is going to just let it happen. It does not show any incidents, but it does look like, yes, Tommy Thompson had to have made a mistake somewhere along the line here. Got passed a couple times. We're going to jump up on board here, and that's a shame because Noah Miller is going to be right there in the back seat of Wilson, where he probably should be with how he was driving the car earlier. Miller is in 14th, just trying to scrape any points he can. He was one of our faster cars on track before he got a black flag for speeding in the pits. Never fun, but Wilson looking like he is just continuing to put that gap up on Kyle Heath. TJ Hanley is 5.5 seconds back now, so Hanley is trying to pull out a little bit of magic here. Greg Pillar does get by Raymond Mull for 8th place. Raymond Mull is dropping back significantly. Tommy Thompson might have a chance of getting up into 9th place again. 5.5 seconds back, but Raymond Mull running some slower laps. Tommy Thompson as well, looking like his tires are starting to fall off. 31.34 for Mull, 31.44 for Tommy Thompson. We've got 4 laps to go here, so we're going to jump right on board with Blaine Wilson, who is just putting a gap on everybody on the track. Wilson crushing it in the number 20. He could have back-to-back wins here at Octane Outlaws. This would be the first time we have back-to-back wins. Blaine Wilson right now, 5-second gap. We're going to take a look and see if there is anybody that is close on track that will be fighting for position. The closest we have is Raymond Mull and Tommy Thompson. Or Raymond Mull and Greg Pillar. Sorry, excuse me. And Greg Pillar, you can see a little ways up there from Raymond Mull. No gaps closing down too much. Rodney Roberts currently has TJ Hanley 4.9 seconds. If Hanley had a little bit more time, he probably could have gotten up there, but TJ Hanley is looking like he's going to be finishing in 4th position. As long as everything stays the way it is. Final lap now for Blaine Wilson. Man from Cedar Rapids looks like he's going to take it home. Coming down the backstretch here. Our man Blaine Wilson from Cedar Rapids, Iowa, coming down the front stretch, and he is going to take the win here at Las Vegas for the Silver State Throwdown 200. Blaine Wilson, your race winner in the number 20 Toyota. Congratulations to Blaine Wilson. Kyle Heath, our runner-up here. Number 53 machine of Kyle Heath out of Gilbert, South Carolina. And then Rodney Roberts not too far behind him. Coming across in 12th, TJ Hanley in 4th. Stein DeJong in 5th. Corey Buchanan 6th. Casey Ellis in 7th. Jump to Greg Pillar in 8th. Raymond Mull in 9th. Tommy Thompson, your man, Frederick, in 10th. The admin team will be happy. Corey got 6th. Patrick Mitrovics in 4th. Or Mitrovics. Richard Kreuzer in 12th, as we have everybody coming home. Blaine Wilson out on track. Let's see him do some donuts here. And he's off the track already. Well, we will be jumping into some interviews with these guys. And we have Tyler Brewer wishing he could have made the race. Shame we didn't have you, Tyler, but you know, things happen. We definitely get it. Life comes up. And life is much more important than iRacing, as crazy as it seems. But Blaine Wilson, our winner here. A quick replay of him flying around the track. We'll throw our results up here of the race for everybody to see. Blaine Wilson taking it home. Winning our race here today at Las Vegas. Kyle Heath in second. Rodney Roberts third. TJ Hanley fourth. Stein DeJong fifth. Corey Buchanan sixth. Casey Ellis in seventh. Greg Pillar in eighth. Raymond Mull Sr. in ninth. Tommy Thompson in 10th. Patrick Mitrovic in 11th. Richard Kreuzer in 12th. David Guiman in 13th. Noah Miller in 14th. George Buck in 15th. Justin Potts in 16th. Unfortunate, something happening to him. Later on in the race, he was 16 laps down from the end, so not sure what happened there. Chris Parkman in 17th, and Alex Coffey having to retire for, I don't want to say injury, but you know, going through some pain with some recovery. So we wish him the best in recovering. Let's see who we can pull up into the broadcast booth. Be right with you. We're having some technical difficulties on the pulling people into the booth, so we'll be right with you in just a moment. Hoping to get Rodney Roberts in here for our first interviewee. Looks like we will have our interviewers. And here we do have Rodney Roberts just jumping into the booth here with us. Rodney, great race there, taking home P3. How's it feel?
It feels good. I just wish I could have done better and won the race.
Yeah, Blaine Wilson was mighty quick today. Kyle Heath as well, setting some blazing lap times. Only 15 seconds back total. Anything that you could have done to get up there with Wilson and Heath at the end of the race?
Could have ran a different strategy. I didn't really think about it too much, and after the first pit, it was just too late.
Yeah, we didn't have a caution again this week. 2 weeks in a row. You don't see that too often. So no cautions again. So it was a clean strategy slate. Were you guys expecting a caution this week since we didn't have one last week?
I figure we would have had one this week. It surprised me that we didn't.
Yeah, I'm sure that threw a little bit of a wrench in hoping that the strategies would play out a little bit differently, but still, third place, that is not anything to be too sad about. Rodney, do you have anybody you want to thank? Any shout outs you want to give?
Just my team and everything else. My teammate, he don't show up much, but he does when he does, and we run pretty good together.
Well, it was a fantastic race to watch. We wish you all the luck in our next race, which happens
I appreciate
to be
it.
One second, pull up our schedule here. Next race is going to be at Watkins Glen a week from now. How are you on your road racing?
I'm not the best, but I do like Watkins Glen in these cars, so it should be pretty fun.
Yeah, Watkins Glen should be a fun experience. It should shake the grid up a little bit. We might see some people that are farther in the back, make their way up to the front for these races. So we wish you the best at Watkins Glen, and we will hopefully talk to you again next week.
I appreciate it. I'll hopefully talk to y'all again in the winner's circle.
Yep. That was Rodney Roberts, and we are jumping into the booth here with Kyle Heath. Kyle, great second position there for a second place here at Las Vegas. How are you guys feeling today with the car? And what do you think you could have done to take the race to Blaine Wilson there at the end?
Well, that last stop I should have taken 4 tires, but only took 2, hoping that I could be able to get a good jump, be able to have a couple good seconds ahead, and then try to fight my way to stay ahead, but it didn't work out too well. Last week I learned my lesson to save the tires at the beginning. This time I saved a set of tires at the beginning, but I just made a bad call at the end.
Well, either way, I mean, you put up a great fight. Obviously, Wilson got the best of you there at the end, but it was fun to watch you guys going side by side there for a while. It was late in the race, probably around lap 100, right before that last stop, and you guys were matching pace on similar strategies. So it was a shame that we couldn't see it, side by side there at the checkered flag, but still a very entertaining, very great race to watch.
Yeah, definitely, that was fun.
Any shout outs you want to give before we let you go here?
Yeah, I mean, give a shout out to Blaine for winning the race. That makes 2 in a row for him, I think.
Yep, yeah, he is on 2 in a row. So great job for him. Anybody else?
Yeah, I mean, this league putting it on, and you, of course, as a broadcaster, putting it out there. And give a big shout out to my wife. She's sponsors my car, so I'll give a big shout out to her.
Giving the sponsors a shout out, always awesome to hear, especially when it's the wife. So thank you, wifey. We will be seeing you hopefully again. We're going to Watkins Glen next week. Gonna have to brush up on the road racing, but hopefully we see you.
I love me some road racing, that's for sure.
Oh, perfect. Well, then we look forward to seeing you again in the booth.
Hopefully in first place.
Hopefully in first place next week. We'll be watching you. All right, Kyle, you have a great night. Great racing.
All right, thank you.
All right, and our last driver here, our winner of the race, Blaine Wilson. Do we got you down there in the car?
Yeah, what's going on?
Not much. Great race there at the end. Obviously overtaking Kyle Heath to win the race. Put up a 6-second gap at the end, but Kyle has informed us he did a 2-tire stop. Was trying to get a good jump and get a good little gap to you there, but you were able to make it up fairly quickly and get past him. What was your strategy throughout the race to get yourself up into first again? Obviously two weeks in a row, but you took 14 positions from where you started to get into first.
Yeah, trying to save tires is big. This league is really unique with the pit strategy. You got to pit more times than you have sets of tires. So one of those times you're not taking any tires, and you can either choose to not take tires at the first stop or the last stop, I think. And this time I saved all the sets, just like last week. Came in on that last fuel run, cut it in half, took all 4, came out. I saw Kyle Heath was about 6 seconds ahead when I came out, and I was a little worried, but I figured he must not have taken any tires there or took 2 or something like that. We caught him pretty quick. But yeah, it worked out 2 in a row. I was either going to run that tank dry, pit with like 10 to go, and take no tires and see if I had a big enough gap to hold him off, but played it safe, and it worked out for us.
Yep, it was a great strategy there. Only 4 cars on the lead lap. obviously it's only a 30-second lap, but you and the top 4 guys there were really pulling away from everybody, setting a great pace. And obviously your guys' strategy worked out for you. We go to Watkins Glen next week. What's your strategy going into Watkins?
Well, I haven't been there in a minute, so hopefully I can put some practice laps down before that race starts. Watkins Glen, if I had to choose any road course, that'd be the one I'd prefer to race. I have the most success at, so we'll see what happens. It's going to be fun. It definitely might be a race you see me fall off a little bit, but that we're still going to dig just like usual and maybe be talking to you again.
Yeah, we always like talking to you, Blaine. We're going to let you go. Anybody you want to give a shout out to before we sign off?
Yeah, shout out to my teammates, Nigel and Alex. I know Alex did a couple laps. He came in here, set the pole, but he's still recovering overall. But he's just giving us a glimpse of what he's going to look like when he does start racing again. We got to watch out for him. But I'll take it to him. Don't worry about that. Nigel was on the box tonight again, making calls, came up with that awesome pit strategy that got us that big lead at the end. So the whole league was clean. Once again, we didn't have any cautions, which is very impressive. Everybody's very respectful, and it's fun to race here.
Yep. Yeah, we only, for reference, we only had 20 incidents the entire race. So 20 X's between everybody on track for the whole hour and a half. So great job, like you said, to the league. It's great to have somebody on the pit box there for you. And yeah, like we said, we hope to see you again next week at Watkins Glen. I know Kyle Heath said that that's one of his favorite tracks, so you'll be battling him for another win.
Yeah, and out of 20 of those X's, 8 of them were mine, so I do apologize for that. But we'll clean it up next week. We'll see how many X's we get at Watkins Glen. Usually that's very easy to get an X there, so that'll be a fun one.
Yeah, my bet is that we get more X's in turn 1 than we had all week from this race and last week's race at Kansas. So we'll be seeing who takes that bet against me. But until then, we will talk to you hopefully again next week. If not, hopefully a week after that.
Appreciate you.
All right, and we are going to sign off here. Blaine Wilson taking our win in Las Vegas. As we saw, Kyle Heath right there with him. Unfortunate strategy call to take 2 tires instead of all 4, but Rodney Roberts taking 3, TJ Hanley in 4th, Stein DeJong in 5th, Corey Buchanan in 6th, Casey Ellis in 7th, Greg Pillar in 8th, Raymond Mull in 9th, Tommy Thompson in 10th, Patrick Mitrovic in 11th, Richard Kreuzer in 12th, David Goymond in 13th, Noah Miller, unfortunate, he had the one stop that he had to serve a penalty for speeding in the pits. So he was pretty far back because of that, but he should have been fighting up front. He was setting a good pace, so unfortunate for you, Noah. George Buck in 15th, Justin Potts in 16th, I think also had a black flag penalty for speeding in the pits. Chris Parkman, and rounding it off in 18th is Alex Coffey. Once again, we hope that your surgery recovery is going well, and we hope to see you on track for a full race here shortly. Other than that, everybody, you have a good night. Here from Octane Outlaws at Las Vegas, we wish you a very good night.